From KALB, this is a First Alert forecast.
Today, meteorologist Ian Beck visited South Grant Elementary's second grade class where they are learning about the water cycle and seasons. Ian explained why the water cycle and seasons are important for Louisiana weather, plus information about hurricanes and severe weather. At the end, the kids got to see the First Alert storm tracker. If you would like for the First Alert weather team to speak at your school or business, you can schedule a weather lab with us over on our website under the Weather Lab page. And we've got some exciting weather to talk about, also some things to stay aware of as we head into this weekend. I want to give you the first alert, of course, to that next weather maker rolling in late Saturday into early Sunday. This is going to be the first of two cold fronts rolling through. Severe weather still expected to stay pretty isolated in nature. You can see here the severe weather outlook. The higher severe risk is really along Interstate 20. Some of that slight risk clips northern Natchitoches and Winn Parish. The rest of central Louisiana, those under a marginal risk for severe weather, which is a level 1 out of 5 on the severity scale. So here's how things time out on Futurecast on Saturday. This is just one scenario. Going to have to wait a little bit later for that additional data, but you'll notice some of those isolated storms starting to fire up around noon, a little bit beyond that for central Louisiana. So by 3 to 4, we start to see some of those scattered storms rolling into the area. Now to our north right here, this is the main line out ahead of that cold front. That's 5 p.m. You'll notice it might be later into the overnight hours before that front finally starts making it down into central Louisiana. And as that front moves through, there's just not as much in the way of rain coverage. So I don't expect everybody to get rain out of our next weather maker this upcoming weekend. Rain chances, though, down to 20% on Sunday, with most of this likely happening Saturday night. Rain chances Sunday may be able to be a little bit lower as we get closer to then. Tuesday, though, we've got another low end chance for rain as that second cold front moves through. And I think you'll really like what the second cold front will bring us by the middle of next week. Now, we could really use some widespread rain. I'd be fine with the widespread rain and no severe weather. You see here we have lots of burn bans in place due to the ongoing dryness across central Louisiana. And that latest drought monitor just doesn't look much better. I'll zoom things in here to central Louisiana specifically here so you can see it a little bit better. But a huge expansion once again this week with pre-drought conditions in the yellow, what's called dry, and then level 1 out of 4 drought conditions, what we call moderate drought. You see still across some of our southern parishes, expanded slightly to the north and to the west, so it includes southeastern portions of Vernon, southwestern Rapides, and then that little area there along the Natchitoches Red River Parish line has expanded a lot larger now and includes a good chunk of Natchitoches and Sabine Parish. If we don't see a lot of rain out of these next two cold fronts, likely we will see drought conditions continue to deteriorate in next week's update. Now, when it comes to the tropics, now to give you the first alert, kind of this general zone as we head into next week and a little bit beyond that. Well, the National Hurricane Center today, now that we're within that 7-day window, has tagged this tropical wave that's going to continue moving off to the west and eventually has the chance of becoming organized once it reaches this yellow oval. With that said, not too concerned about it for us at this point, but there is a level of uncertainty here about its future track once it reaches that oval. So we'll be watching it, nothing to be concerned about. We'll give you the first alert, of course, as we learn more. What a beautiful view here this evening from our England Air Park camera. This is here in Alexandria as the sun sets. Love the hue there on the skyline as the sun continues setting tonight. Highs this afternoon were pretty toasty once again, upper 80s, low 90s. I'm expecting much of the same as we head into the day tomorrow. Your high temperature trend here for the next couple of days. We're going to be warm through Saturday, close to 90 degrees. And we see a drop in temperature, a further drop in temperature behind that next cold front. And things are looking pretty good on that first alert 10-day forecast. Looks like we might be keeping it in the upper 70s through the end of next week. Right now, temperatures a smidge cooler than earlier this afternoon. 86 Alexandria, 84 there, Opelousas and Oakdale, 82 as you head out toward Natchez and Marksville. Hometown lows tonight looking pretty good, about the same as last night, so slightly warmer compared to earlier in the week, looking at some low and mid 60s across the board. Here's your first alert 7-day forecast. Again, temperatures a lot cooler by the middle of next week, looking at highs in the mid and upper 70s.
Yeah. You know, the burn bans seem like not such a good thing, but if the fire gets started, it could really do some damage.
It can. That's why it's important to really heed those burn bans and take the advice and the rules and whatnot from local and state officials.
Yeah, great advice. Thank you, Jake. Well, if you're looking at